I'm sorry, now they're captioning me and the audience choking on popcorn? I feel seen. Obviously, all of the crazy alternating universe production logos are Spider-Verse style opening credits, but Lord Miller has one of the greatest alternate universe logos. Also, is that Hobie's skull in one of the alts?
Let's do things differently this time. Like, so differently.
All right, let's be objective here. Remove emotion. Yes, let's judge this movie on its merits. Yes, thank you. Oh my gosh, starting on Gwen this time with the score being drums because she's a drummer. And also this entire intro is just her drum solo and inner monologue, and this is her story even though she's talking about Miles, giving us a new perspective on the first movie, and it starts out slow and builds to this incessant pace that puts you on edge in a way that you'd never expect from the first 3 minutes, but the story goes there and she's letting us know right up front. Perfect objectivity.
He was bitten by a radioactive spider, and he's not the only one.
Also, not the only one is the polar opposite of the opening to the first film that was all about the one and only Spider-Man.
The one and only Spider-Man.
Also letting us view events we've already seen reinterpreted through Gwen's universe, Earth 65, that has a much more abstract and emotionally driven style with smudged pastels that, honestly, when I saw it in Into the Spider-Verse, my first thought was, boy, I hope we don't spend a lot of time here. It hurts my brain. And dang it, was I wrong to have that fear, because it's dope and can convey things that the more realistic, or let's say beholden to our version of reality type worlds can't. And yeah, I totally skipped over the reoccurring 42s in the first movie because I noticed them, but they just didn't seem important. Oh, you sweet summer child, you. I won't do that this time.
I didn't want to hurt him, but I did.
And the timeline is wonky right now because it's what the movie is about. Sure, plenty of movies jump to the end of the prologue, but we're listening to Gwen discuss a disruption in the canon. Or maybe she's just recounting the canon? Who could say yes?
Yo, Def Leppard!
Def Leppard's drummer Rick Allen famously lost an arm in a car accident but overcame what seemed like insurmountable odds, especially in 1984, to not only continue as the drummer, but do it during arguably their most successful era. Anyway, not sure what overcoming absurd odds has to do with this film. Huh.
And you don't want to talk.
I didn't join a band so I could talk about my feelings.
Well, I did.
Honesty, you gotta find those connections where you can, Betty. I play adult rec soccer to see my brothers more. We do what we can.
You always wind up a solo act.
So much music in this one to talk about, like so many songs of note, which is crazy because the first movie also had a killer soundtrack and score, and I think by bringing in Metro Boomin, they outdid themselves. Self-love captures the mood. Did Gwen go as VLC player for Halloween? Tight costume. Also Pete in his lizard self, whatever. Each frame also reinforces that even Gwen's hair color changes depending on the moods or seasons or vibes. Plus it's that something took a picture every day for 10 years and now I'm a hottie but clearly slipped into depression as the crushing weight of adulthood came down on me. You know the what's. There's a very monitor lizard design for this version of the lizard that makes him less sympathetic than others, making the switch back to Peter even more jarring for us and Gwen.
Wanted to be special. Like you, Gwen.
But getting Huey to be the saddest and most pitiable Peter Parker was an inspired choice. No offense, Jack.
George Stacy leads the manhunt for Spider-Woman. Who is she?
J.K. Simmons is going to be playing J. Jonah from his deathbed, and J.K. Simmons is always a win. Does that banner just say social media? Classic, want it.
Do punk rock to give your old man a hug.
And if there was any confusion about what the colors in Earth 65 mean, this should clear it up. The warm glow bleeds out from their hug, even her hair turns from green back to blonde. And we get the first notes of her Spider-Woman theme. I'm not totally sure I'd like having people see what my mood ring says at all times, but I guess you get used to it. It would make deciphering crushes and also coming clean about crushes a lot easier. What color aura is that middle school feel? You know what, never mind. Also, she moves so fast that she leaves the comic frame before it can disappear. And then when her dad is called to a superhuman event, her hair turns back to green and her skin gets an even darker blue as he leaves. Ha! Spider-Gwen has her radio inside a penguin. Oh yeah, it does say social media. Also protect trans kids, good ally Gwen. Have I mentioned that Gwen's Spider-Woman theme is my new absolute favorite theme, and I don't think I've ever truly liked a motif before I heard this one? I mean, yeah, it's cool.
How's the manhunt for me going? Good to know!
And I kind of love that both Gwen and Miles,
thank you for your bravery tonight,
and live-action Holland Man actually, all do their interpretation of tough guy New Yorker to cover their voices.
It's a rough borough, but hey, it's home.
Why are you narrating in that voice?
Because it's fun.
By the way, amazing design for the vulture. Get it? It's like Da Vinci, but it's Da Vulture. We have fun here. And obviously you're not watching this without having seen Into the Spider-Verse, but in case you are, Gwen showcases her skill set and the way she heroes inside 40 seconds. Webbing up people in the background, utilizing her ballet skills, and being nonchalant about arrows flying at her, cause Spidey sense.
Sort of a meta commentary on what we call art, but it's also art.
Don't sell yourself short, this movie is art. Oh, Jeff Koons, his stuff is art too. Parchment paper subtitles. Miguel's theme is also sick, but he knows it's sick if you get my drift, which is why I prefer Gwen's. Still dope. Also, he has claws and a retractable cape, so he's not left wanting to be cool. Although I'm starting to see why he and Peter don't get along that well.
Take that off, it's disrespectful. Spider-Man doesn't wear a cape.
No, I'm...
Dark Garfield.
Now that's a multiverse movie I need to see.
Okay, knock yourself out.
Why are you saying it like that?
She got him so good her theme kicks back in.
Are you guys talking about?
None of your business, nosy.
En Espanol, just in case Vulture didn't get it.
Don't even get me started on Doctor Strange and the little nerd back on Earth 1999-99.
That's fair, they were idiots about it. The thing my brain kept doing in theaters, both times actually, was thinking, haha, the references and dialogue are so funny. Oh, holy crap, I forgot this is also an awesome action movie with a crap ton of new Spideys doing Spidey stuff. No joke, happened a bunch.
Okay.
Dios, he's got Hammer's face.
But who's Ed? Education department? I feel like I should know. Bags of holding are dope though, especially when they're named for something applicable to Spider-Ham.
It'll fit in your pocket.
Oh, it's editorial. It's been a long time. I know I asked for an Andrew Garfield Spidey film with Jessica Drew as his mentee, and I stand by that request. This is also pretty good.
Spider-Woman.
Me too.
Although that said, I will gladly take a live-action Jessica Drew Spider-Woman film starring Issa Rae. Honestly, I'd pretty much back anything starring Issa Rae.
My husband wants it to be a surprise. He's really corny, but so hot.
Priorities.
Is it because she called you Dark Garfield?
No.
Do you say anything but no?
No. Yes.
Ah, she Bugs Bunny'd him. Love that seeing the vibrant, colorful city is too much for him, and we see it reflected in his eyes as well as visuals for the sounds coming from the city.
I'm a good guy.
You don't look like a good guy.
Clairvoyance. Good stuff. A visual handoff inside a split second.
Don't understand.
The way the colors shatter, invert, and overexpose, extremely accurate representation of what a father and daughter would feel in a situation like this. And her colors are now bleeding down as everything starts falling apart. I could definitely see this as a little nod to Gwen coming out, an allegory for LGBTQ+ peeps. She also just happens to use the trans colors for her suit, but the timing of it feels deliberate. Behind Gwen is her mask, and her dad is seeing her face and her mask at the same time, and the mask is 10 times bigger than her. She can't hide it anymore, and she feels exposed. And if Mulan is to be trusted, mirrors are important to folks when they're trying to share their identity, but unlike earlier, she can't hide this time. I also think it's totally open to interpretation. Not everything needs to be spelled out for it to work for you. And speaking of everyone knowing what you're feeling and potentially being able to infer what you're thinking, that's some pretty icy blue he's got there, Gwen. It's a good thing this entire movie doesn't take place in Earth 65 because I'm not sure I'd be able to help myself. The explosion of magenta and pink coming out of Gwen as she's pleading and reaching for her dad's acceptance.
Don't get any closer.
And I even feel like that's evidence that people are reading the colors and the blackness inking in freaked him out, just like we often misinterpret each other's emotions and motives, even without billboards displaying them.
I don't know how to fix this.
Brutally delivered line.
Join the club.
Ah, it's a double entendre. This Miguel guy has already grown on me. Yeah, leaving your dad and universe behind would leave you feeling a little blue. Dang, was Red X not allowed to connect the E and the X because of trademark infringement? You've seen the arrow before, right?
Sir, please just let me rob you.
I love that Spot has definitely thought this out, but doesn't lead with the right information. It takes him almost a full minute to get to the reason he's saying, let me rob you.
I'm not even robbing you. I mean, this ATM machine doesn't even belong to you, right? This belongs to the bank. I was actually considered handsome by scientific standards.
It depends who you ask. Rushmore days, go on. Scott Pilgrim days, also go on. Asteroid City days, still going on. So yeah, he's attractive. Ha! He uses the cans to roll the ATM out.
I'm from your past. 1 year ago.
Hold up. Oh, come on.
And Jason can turn it all from a joke to something sinister with a quick tone change.
I was bitten by a radioactive spider.
That is not how I remember him, but I love the artistic license taken to make Spider-42 cuter. I do the same. I love that he's drawing all his buddies in art class as proportions work. Their sizes vary, even a quick thwip on his pages. Leapfrog, Grizzly, some guy in purple? He's been heroing it up without us.
Endorse baby powder. Apologize for endorsing baby powder.
I made a mistake.
Dang, good on him for writing that wrong, even if Peter B recommended it. Bad for baby's lungs.
We love you and accept you even though you have been lying to us for a year.
That would be really nice, but it's almost as likely as them throwing the couch into another dimension like that. Good analogy, Spidey.
I don't dwell on it.
And I wasn't dwelling when I wrote Colleen's name over and over in my notebook in 4th grade. Oh no, I've already talked about this. This makes it even weirder. Haha, good thing she doesn't watch YouTube. Got him.
Mom, I see exactly what you're doing there.
And so did I. I knew it said no expectations. I did, I swear. I just wanted to see if you'd catch it. I did not.
Costume's too tight in the back, by the way.
Helpfulness.
I'm not your guy in the chair.
Whoa, Genki got shredded too? I don't care. Don't you dare slander Ned. And you don't want to be the guy in the chair, but you're playing Spider-Man.
Are those my Jordans?
I can't help it if we're the same size.
Nah, I'm not even a sneakerhead, but I know if you casually wear someone else's Jordan 1s without asking, that's pretty much grounds to have your clothes folded while you're still in them. Not to mention they're Spider-Man's Jordan 1s.
And my job is to capture your person's universe on this piece of paper.
Ha, good luck. Miles has 2.
Can't have your cake and eat it too.
Unless she baked 2 cakes.
Dang, that's like the thing. You can't do that in life. Both of them get a response just with the looks and movements they give. I think that's how you know if you've done well as a parent.
And a B in Spanish.
What?
Ooh, okay.
Miles.
But the Puerto Rican flag snap?
Princeton has the best quantum researchers in the country. Dimensional thresholds.
Man, that's real support right there. You don't have to know what's going on, but you catch a word here and there and you pump up your kid.
To travel to other dimensions.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, yeah, that sounds like a really good fake job.
I mean, pump him up, but don't miss a chance to dunk either.
When you were born, plus your mom used to...
Well, now I definitely need to know what his mom used to.
Look, life is a journey.
Brian Tyree Henry has always been funny, but I feel like he must have been held back in the first movie because now he's stealing scenes. And Genki was barefoot in his kicks? Yikes, bro. I'm never gonna pass up an opportunity to mention Tottenham Hotspur in a video because it's one of those made-up sounding Premier League names. Oh right, the guy in the poster is their captain. Also, he's one of 3 South Korean men playing in the Premier League, so absolutely worthy of a poster on Genki's wall.
He's barely a villain of the week.
You had to go and say that. Like father, like son. I'll always applaud the sensible choice. I did that once. It's so satisfying. I mean, I wasn't on a ladder or anything, but I did feel like Spider-Man for a few minutes while pooping. Later, we learn that all Spideys go through the same stuff because of canon events, and that makes a simple little jump and spin between the 3 portals even cooler than just a reference to Toby Man jumping between Goblin's blade bomb things. The black and white pen drawing style art here is amazing, just another insanely skilled artist adding to this masterpiece. Okay, so this is interesting, and if it's true, makes what Miguel says later wrong, because that's Miles 42 about to be bitten, which makes Miles 1610 not an anomaly at all. I mean, the mere existence of Miles Prowler also kind of proves that, but we're not there yet.
You hit me with a bagel!
That guy does kind of look like Jason Schwartzman, and obviously I knew Onomatopoeia Bagel Guy was going to be important.
Look at me!
You did this to me!
Love the hints of his voice going full evil nemesis, even if we're not quite ready for that yet either.
Oh, this is why nobody likes us, man.
It's really not, but I appreciate the movie at least trying to acknowledge reality every once in a while.
Hey, Gutierrez, you can cancel the crane.
The no-look realization.
Men of your generation ignore their mental health too long.
This isn't just funny, it's also something that Miles would probably love to say to his dad, but never would. Now, those are Ben-Day dots. All a uniform size, not like the halftones in Miles Earth 1610.
My holes can take me anywhere.
That's what's so fun about holes. Explore the holes.
Splitting the fabric of space and time. For you, it's just a Tuesday night.
To be fair, Mrs. Chen has seen it all. I kind of want to see the argument between Eddie and Venom over the branding of the gum, because you know Venom wouldn't be cool with green packaging.
My holes aren't a curse!
And let's all be so lucky to feel that way about holes.
Can you stop talking about your holes? You're making everyone uncomfortable over here.
Even if some anti-holes guys can't handle it. So in Into the Spider-Verse, Miles was animated on 2s, or 12 frames per second, until his leap of faith, where he was on 1s, or 24 frames per second. The thing people seem to miss is that when he's not Spideying, he's back on 2s. Everyone is, though, unless they're thwipping. But my point here is that Lego Peter is on 2s-ish, but his legs are on like 4s and 5s sometimes. I'm assuming to draw further delineation from the rest of the real world. The letters of thwip fall to the ground because there ain't no thwipping if your hands are full. Unless you have bungees and aren't worried about your pizzas getting a little smushed. Oh hey, but also he did the thing, 2 cakes.
Unless she baked 2 cakes.
Starting to see that Genki is right.
You're stretched too thin, I've been
All right, thanks for the tip.
And I will always, always be here for you.
Oof, not with a promotion you won't. Even within Spideying moments, he switches between 24 and 12 frames per second depending on how fluid the movement needs to be. In the 42nd minute and the 42nd second of the movie, Miles is wearing his 42 jersey. See, I told you I wouldn't slouch. Classic encouragement message.
I studied for 8 months.
9. That was like giving birth.
No, it wasn't.
Of course not.
He gets points for the quick correction though. His little double take. How did they get over there so fast? Wait, are they Spider-Man? Wait, no, I'm Spider-Man. Right.
I have no idea what's going on with you, so why don't you tell me?
The DJ is trying so hard. This moment is easy to miss because Gwen shows up in a few seconds, but dang it if that isn't young love encapsulated in one visual. Being grounded is prison to us as teens, but sometimes all it takes is a brief reminder that they are out there to put a stupid smile on our stupid faces. And I don't love Hummingbird as much as Sunflower right away, which makes me think I may like it more in the long run. It's a solid track though. Miles is living the dream. All teen boys wish for is our crushes to fall through portals into our, never mind. Hugging. Is that Katie's moose? Spin, you thief.
Oh, Manny. Missed you too.
Honestly, best response she could give. Kills the tension, clarifies absolutely nothing.
Is Spider-Man grounded?
And Mr. and Mrs. Morales are right later. She's a bad influence. And what was true of the first movie is true of this one. There's no motion blur, so it doesn't matter where you paused, you end up with an amazing piece of art that would look amazing on my wall. Speaking of, killer is, man.
No one my age says those words in that order.
Ah, dang it. Loving the way the camera follows Miles under and through obstacles.
What does that mean? You stay overnight, or?
Aw, buddy. This being a teen who feels like he's missing out on everything vibe is cutting deep. Heh, bagels. Wait, is that everything everywhere all at once? I bet 1610 is the universe with sexy, suave Waymond. So like, how does Gwen stay stuck when all that's in contact with the building is her chucks? Like the sticky spider barbs would be so far away, right? Well, that's the thing. We've all been looking at Spidey's stickiness wrong for a long time, and it's probably Raimi's fault. There's a bit of this, sure, but also it's basically magic. Spider-Man can change the laws of attraction between things at a molecular level. Part of the spider people's mutation is that they can effectively will things to stick together, so that's how. And thank goodness, because this shot with the camera following Gwen around the ledge is absolutely stunning. And Pop Money's another dimension. What a track for this moment. Captures the stillness at the top of the building for two people with confusing feelings for each other, reveling in something they have in common, separate from the rest of the, well, most of the world. I know sometimes ranting about how beautiful the art is in this film is like ranting about how sandy the beach is, because it's kind of a given. But this makes me want to be an artist and move to New York. And it's not even the real New York, that's how beautiful it is.
In every other universe, Gwen Stacy falls for Spider-Man. And in every other universe, it doesn't end well.
My gut reaction in this moment is, dang, sorry Miles. Been there, and like me, Lee wants them to be together because, as we've established previously, I'm romance-pilled. And I'm not sure Gwen doesn't have romantic feelings for Miles. She smiles talking about Gwen and Spider-Man being together. But my gut check is that it would have to suck for Gwen to come to the only person that really truly gets her and have to navigate his feelings at a time when she's just looking for a friend. I guess it's just unfortunate that so many of us immediately associate emotional intimacy with romantic intimacy. But also, they're teens, and while this stuff is hard to get right as an adult, it's a billion times harder as young adults. It's confusing, but Miles half shoots his shot and then backs off, and Gwen doesn't give him false hope or get upset with him. So kudos to both of them for paying attention to each other's cues. Did this need to be this long? No, but as previously mentioned, I'm a romantic. Give this movie all of the awards.
I bet she doesn't even speak Spanish.
Well, everybody does.
It's funny because he does, and they didn't translate it for us, and what he said was sarcastic in Spanish. Something like how awful.
Captain Morales.
Ah, Captain.
Wow, she is bad at this. I think if I was a kid, I'd think it was awesome, but now I'm not a kid, and dang, that's a bad first impression.
Rio, hi! You're using my first name. Okay.
Handshakes. Huh. Doesn't have the same oomph, does it? I love that in addition to the out-of-registration style they use to show things out of focus, there's also blurry highlights and even just outlines to give the feeling of haze in front of buildings way off in the distance.
And what I worry about most is they won't look out for you like us. Wherever you go from here, you have to promise to take care of that little boy for me.
This really loving and moving speech is even rougher when you realize that it's the last time Miles sees his real mom for the rest of the movie.
Never lets anyone at those big fancy places he's gonna be in tell him that he doesn't belong there. Que Dios te bendiga.
And BD just over here crying. Miles has no clue what's coming, but it's exactly what his mom warns him about to a level that very few people have ever experienced. Sway Lee back with Metro Boomin to slip into our brains like the sweetest and gentlest earworm. The beat and groove on Annihilate that kicks in just as Miles is leaving his mom again builds up what would otherwise be a typical moment of Miles just going to see Gwen into what it actually is, the end of Miles' time in Earth 1610 and the beginning of Miles' real journey.
Nothing can shake me.
The re-zip is genius. And now I really feel bad for Spot, because he did have a beautiful beard. The frowny face, that's a real scientist right there. Even the primarily holographic replay shows the dark matter for what it is.
I'll never see him again.
Honestly, I forgot about this line, and it puts everything about this scene into a totally different light, because there's no point in allowing yourself to fall for someone that you think you'll never see again.
Wow, thank you. Thank you so much. I promise you.
You're welcome. Shut up.
Encouragement. A nod to Raimi's iconic Spider-Man kiss, now with less Tobey Maguire waterboarding.
Goodbye, Miles.
And there's just no way she doesn't sense him there, right? Why else would she leave the portal open for him? They usually close pretty quickly. It was a year for portals to faraway lands. Mario, Quantumania, 65, Guardians 3, Meg 2, Barbie, probably. I can only assume the new Indiana Jones had a portal through time. Portal year. I love the impression that Mumbattan is built vertically with bridges overlapping, and it's always fun to see what other universes might have come up with. And the sound design and score are perfection. Hey, it's a chai cafe. Wonder what they sell there. Hey, another one.
Hello, pardon me, locals. Wow, 4 on there. Wow, that's very dangerous.
Little dialogue details that make the Spider-Verse movies engaging and relatable. Spot is the big bad, but he's also still kind of a normal guy.
Hey, cow guy, move over.
That's the best you can do?
What? That was epic in the moment improv. So that's Tadak, which seems to be Hindi for snapping or snap or crack. And shout out to Hada Boot, that's Hindi for Green Goblin. I'm what you'd call a student of the world and a schmuck.
You don't use any product at all.
Just coconut oil, prayers, and genetics.
Oof, that one stings, Pop.
I love chai tea. What did you just say?
Chai tea, chai means tea, bro.
As a student of the world, I would never make this mistake, but I appreciate that they explain this for other people. Not me. I mean, it would be a little like not knowing that the M in ATM stands for machine and the N in pin stands for number.
ATM machine. My PIN number.
Also, the way Kata Sony hits bro is both the sweetest and most condescending way I've ever heard the word said. And details, the tea overflowing, the fact that Miles is still wearing Pav's auntie's scarf.
This is where the traffic is, this is where the traffic is, this is also where the traffic is, there's traffic here too.
Ah, okay, now I get the many levels of bridges, but I also could totally see why a vertical city would be the absolute best city for Spidey, because of the swinging.
And this is where the British stole all of our stuff.
History lessons, also things the British should correct lessons.
Don't eat, pray, love me, bro.
Hitting Spot right in the Julia Roberts. Also, fun fact, Elizabeth Gilbert, the author of Eat, Pray, Love, had to cancel her sequel because it took place in Russia. It may be more like a mid-fact. Spot is starting to remind me of Jumper, in that at some point he won't really have to take steps anymore. A problem for human Hayden Vader, maybe less so for Holy Cow Man. But I love how much more formidable Spot is at this point, using the holes to actually increase inertia and really give Miles a run for his money. Some might say now you're thinking with portals.
What should I know about Hobie? Oh, looks like he did not know.
Sometimes you just need that friend around that says the things.
You guy must be in love with you. We got along great and we're close friends.
If you thought Spider-Punk felt extra glitchy, it's because he's on 3s. So his movements only happen every 3 frames, and I like to think Hobie does it on purpose, because Donald Duck the man, eh?
Bit of advice. Use the palm, not just your fingers.
And he's immediately helpful. Miles is understandably jealous, but Hobie's a good dude. Ha! There's a Scorpion reference and a Captain America reference in the same panel. His entire city is one big anti-punk landscape.
That is when I'm not playing shows, antagonizing fascists.
Are those pigs? In Bobby uniforms? Pull the move, Hobie.
Having a laugh at the pub with the man them. I'm not a
I want to have a laugh with the man dem. I don't even know what that means, and I want it.
I don't believe in consistency.
This guy is killing me.
I love that there's this massively important thing going on with immense stakes, and then they're also fighting Spot. You see what I did there? But seriously, there's so much information being thrown around, and the takeaway is, who could blame anyone for crashing on Hobie? He's definitely created to be an over-the-top stereotype, and yet everything about him is still pitch perfect.
You're not a joke!
So sincere.
No one here thinks you're a joke!
They won't after this.
No!
That subtle snip.
Our future. I'm gonna take everything from you.
The shift in the score and Spot's voice are chilling, and Spot is now terrifying.
See you back home, Spider-Man.
Each of their eyes going wide in unison, and they each get a stylized letter for the snap.
We'll clear the path. You slow down that building.
I know we just had that other movie, but usually Spider-Man doesn't get this level of teamwork, and it is perfect. The way he uses his kata to save people, yo-yoing them around. Classic Spider-Man misunderstanding of his own lore, but it makes sense. He's brand new. 6 months sounds like the right amount of time for a life-altering canon event. It's been so easy for him, he's the only one who didn't know better than to say this.
Well, that was another easy adventure for Spider-Man.
Also, you can't.
Can't have your cake and ate it too.
Unless she baked 2 cakes.
Miles?
You're amazing.
Aha, yeah, she gets to use that word, yeah, whatever, it's in the comic title, but she also saying what she really feels. And hearing that from your crush at this age might actually be enough to get you through how much of an optimism kill floor the rest of life can be. Don't let anyone tell you being a teen is easy, and don't feel like there's something wrong with you if you don't identify with people insisting it's the best time of your life, because it ain't that for everyone.
It's a metaphor for capitalism.
Hobie, you're gonna lose me subs with that kind of talk. Loving the dad bod representation in this Spidey. All Spideys are beautiful.
How are you even cooler under your mask?
I was just cool the whole time.
What a perfect response. You could read it as, yeah, I'm cool. But considering Hobie's ethos throughout the film, I take it as meaning that it's not being a superhero that makes Hobie cool. Hobie is what makes Hobie cool. Might be a lesson in there. Upside down elevator is an elegant yet effective security measure to keep non-Spideys out. Okay, this would be a lot. Every Spidey competing for the best quip.
Welcome to Spider Society.
Per usual, I avoid trailers, and if you did the same, did you also audibly gasp? Even the car Peter's name is a bit. Hey, and Lego Peter is back.
Mysterio. Mysterio. Wow.
If Mysterio and Spider-Ham don't face off in the third film, then there's no hope for the world. Ah, there he is.
A Prowler.
Prowler?
Not your Prowler.
So poor childish Gambino got zapped to the wrong dimension from Earth 199999 when Strange and Holland Man did their shenanigans? The sheer number of Earths they're assigning here is making me feel very anxious for any writers who join this universe who will have to refer back to the universe Bible so as not to piss off the fans. Me. Piss off me.
Sorry.
Spidey vibes. Huh. Interesting, Gwen. Interesting.
But I'm not like the others.
How are you gonna go off on Miles when you're also one of a kind? Oh, right, that's the point. This is one of the most jarring sequences because the room is 24 frames per second on 1s, Miles is at 12 frames per second on 2s, and Hobie is at 8 frames per second on 3s. And yet it's still somehow all believable, like it works because they're in Spider Society.
Why you want to be part of this lot?
And I really can't get over how Hobie's looking out for him.
Just don't enlist till you know what war you're fighting.
Bruv throwing out solid life lessons. Can I say bruv? Man, dem, tings? Either way, solid life lessons.
I'm just gonna try and ignore you.
I ain't even here. Or here.
Oh boy, humbling reality Spider-Man has arrived.
Boom, roasted, innit?
Who's that?
Mayday!
Mayday! Mayday is a Jude win. She's his favorite part of the movie. He's right, though. Everything she does is perfect.
Supposed to be funny. The fate of the multiverse. You always lose me with that. Mayday!
Kid's an anarchist.
See, Hobie gets it.
Hey, you wanna see pictures?
She's right there.
Look at this pic!
Oh, you've got them. They are. Wow, she is.
She's incredible.
Yep.
Gwen's line is perfect. Also, my friends without kids tell me this is exactly what it's like with other people, I assume. Everyone always wants to see my kids.
Taking a crap on the establishment, I salute you.
Even this tiny face. Keeping up the consistency of how timelines look since Loki.
It's called the arachno-humanoid polymultiverse. Which sounds stupid too, I guess.
Honesty. You'd think the waterboarding would be under the bad stuff. But how? How are you not gonna have Topher in there? Oh, wait. Toby is right there, my bad.
That's how the story's supposed to go.
All this talk of canon events really clarifies the intro to Into the Spider-Verse because everything was just slightly different than we'd seen before, but we now know that this is necessary for every Spider-Man, and all I can say is thank you, Raimi.
That's why Gwen tried to stop you.
I thought you were trying to save me.
I was doing both.
Oof, you can't.
Can't have your cake.
Unless she baked 2 cakes.
Always making flashbacks clear with even another new, more simplistic animation style. Ooh, that smiling to furious match cut.
Isn't that right, Peter?
Yeah. Somehow that humbling reality Spider-Man, I mean, Peter was involved, just makes everything sadder. The way more and more Spider people keep walking in to circle around Miles as if they can all sense what's about to happen, even if Miguel didn't tell them.
Saving an entire world, every world.
I can do both.
I mean, I almost believe it with Miles, but you can't.
Both.
Cake.
2 cakes.
Miles.
We know it's hard. But it's the truth, Miles.
Even the CW/Disney XD's Spectacular Spider-Man? You know it's serious when the other animated Spider-Man gets involved.
Kid, look
Stop calling me.
Here we go.
Hot dang, Hobie is a real G. I love that he's been watching this whole time without saying much, just waiting for his moment and supports Miles like no one else does.
Hobie, you're not helping.
Good. Just for the record, I quit.
He's just never not cool. Biggest pointing meme ever. It's dead now. I think we killed it.
He's right there. He's right. Turn around!
How are you gonna mix tension and humor so well? Oh, you have Mike Rianda voice him.
Have web on my face? What's the deal?
Barrett Wallace, Spidey? Now, if that's all we get of Spider-Cat, I'll be bummed, but I appreciate the time Meow had together.
I guess I can.
I know. How is T-Rex Spidey not Jude's favorite? I don't know. She was runner-up. Cute wins over awesome, I guess. But for me, T-Rex Spider-Man? Spider-Rex? finally an MJ Spider-Woman. So I get that like you need to be a certain way to get accepted into Spider Society, and so maybe Tom Holland's Spider-Man wouldn't anyway, because don't you get the feeling he'd be helping Miles rather than chasing him?
On the count of 3, draw. 1, get it, wait for 3!
He's learning from Hobie, not playing by their rules. Little moments like this show how thought out this sequence was. It's not needed per se, but it's so good and once again adds humor despite the tension. They're always building character.
I can do anything he can. Oh, dang, I pulled something.
Okay, so sometimes the number of frames you can move within a second does matter. Ha! She was practicing for the classic trying very hard to pull 2 heavy things together canon event.
My bad, everybody. There was somewhere to run.
Metro Boomin just out here living the dream, getting his own Spider-Man variant. But honestly, after that 2017 mixtape with Gucci Mane, he deserves it. Way to finesse the plug, Metro. I'm pretty sure I'm using that right.
I've got you trapped in my well-defined musculature.
I know I should be happy that Scarlet Spider is Andy Samberg, and I am, but really I'm just stoked to see one of Jude's action figures come to life.
One squeeze and then we'll talk, because I think it's going to change our bond.
No! It's very rejuvenating!
It is. Even her Spittleward animations are cute.
You are a wonderful person!
Compliments. Solid, real heartfelt ones.
You are so bad at holding a baby.
But realism, it definitely doesn't come natural to everyone.
Both equally terrible. Does that settle it?
And again, they're all spider people, so they just can't stop quipping no matter how high the octane. It's so perfect. Anyone else getting flashbacks of Professor Ratigan climbing Big Ben? Nothing gives kids nightmares like kids' cartoons. Anyway, it works. I assume Jude will be saying something similar about Miguel in 10 years.
You're the original anomaly!
This is a mind blower. Are you telling me that Miguel came back from 2099 specifically for Miles?
Miguel, go easy on him!
You don't belong here. Strings in the score here are torturous. Also, projection much?
Miles, it's for your own good.
Who decides that?
Fair point. Sounds like a Hobie question.
I did lure hundreds of spider people away from your little clubhouse.
I guess he did plan this out.
Peter, I know Hobie's the ultimate supporter, but I can't pretend like you don't secretly want Miles to win. And how much do we love that Miles just played dumb for a full 10 minutes, tricking them into thinking he was just escaping, only to outsmart all of them because they all constantly underestimate him.
Nah, I'm gonna do my own thing.
Yup. Sorry, I mean, hell yes.
I taught him how to do that, so I gotta be a pretty good mentor.
Might as well take the credit when you deserve it. Look, I don't think it's supposed to be a huge mystery and reveal, and I was gonna guess it anyway, but showing Earth 42 like this is my only complaint about the ending. Possibly about the whole movie. Vibes, still them vibes.
We are supposed to be the good guys.
That line is flat out haunting.
We are.
And that line calls for this.
You sure about that? You sure about that?
I've had the right amount of you.
Got him. Perfect physical representation of how Miles is feeling emotionally even though he isn't in Earth 65. Pretty sure he doesn't have to do it that way, he's just extra as hell. Badass bad guy. Badass current bad guy. It's a little risky for Peter and MJ to have a Spider-Man mug, no? I'll take it off their hands. Easy to forget that Gwen's got that strength, since usually she's more about style and precision, and then she throws a Connex box across the roof. The art of the different spider folks against 3 different cityscapes here is gorgeous. Clearly the character design is killer, but the film goes above and beyond with its location art. Spider Ham Jimmy Jams? Might seem funny because it's Penguin, but she shot it out of his hand because based on their last interaction, she was worried he had a gun. Brutal. There's so many amazing shots here, it's hard to keep track, but I love how her colors are skewed through the glass on the table. Again, interesting color palette choices of pink, white, and blue when Gwen says the only people she loves the most can only know half of who she is. Aw, she did the Scorpion get over here thing, but with love. It's also so bright now that the air is cleared and they're seeing each other. Also hugging.
I think that this thing is supposed to help.
Hobie! And we saw him taking the parts for this, which again makes me love Hobie even more because his whole vibe is, I'm just messing stuff up, but that's just what he wants everyone to think. It's actually all thought out. He knew he was quitting, and he wasn't just being the Joker and creating chaos by encouraging Miles to stand up for himself. He's being zero cool and legitimately fighting the power while convincing us he don't give an F. Even his portal is anarchist. See, and I knew Miles shouldn't have done those shrooms before he left. Oh dang, is that the first real hint? Vulture Telecom? Since the Sinister Six crime cartels control everything, and then Con Electro, a power company I assume? And that's Soda Coca, not Coca Soda like in 1610. Also Sony Electronics and Never 21? Everything is bleak in Earth 42. Phantom is now the Sandman, also Scorp. Also, there was a joke among the writers and directors that Miles 42 is actually Wiles, like Wario, you know? So you get Book of Warman and W&Ws. Target is Mysterio. This movie sometimes feels like the return of the king of false endings.
What you do to your hair? Are you guys okay?
And if you blinked when the 42 was on screen, those of us paying attention now are starting to clue in. I love how this Silence of the Lambs moment also parallels the first time it seemed like Gwen was staring right at Miles, but really she wasn't. The pretend thwips. Although it doesn't matter now that I knew he wasn't actually home, the piece of music that kicks in here gives us chills and sort of makes you want to cover your face and look through your fingers.
Do you push silk out of your culito?
That's a fair question.
You sure you woke up?
Whew, that's dark. Wow, that's a sneaky match cut. Look at them overlaid on each other.
He's in the wrong universe.
Spidey sense through dimensions? Also, that's somehow the most spine-chilling line ever. Just the slightest hint of the Prowler theme.
I ungrounded him.
You what?
It's honestly good to be reminded that it's still the same day, which is crazy. It's a crazy long day. Even the stairwells are purple for Prowler. Wilp, without a Spidey, stuff burns, I guess. Ah, two more, Rhino Casino and Sandman Slots and Resort. We'll always be sad that our buddy Paperboy is gone in this world, but it's a pretty killer mural. Thinking maybe his Spidey sense doesn't go off because it's him? Not that jewelry is the end-all be-all determiner of wealth, but Rio in Earth 1610 has quite a lot on, and Rio in Earth 42, where Jeff is dead, does not. Again, dark.
Maybe we just gotta let him spread his wings, man.
Aw, man, he's taking advice from Spider-Man, his own son?
You gotta let him spread his wings, man. Like this.
Well, that's his jacket, Emo. Where's Miles?
Did he just call her emo? Are there emo zoomers? I mean, like, the real kind of emo? Am I gatekeeping emo now? Makes sense that Miles 42 would tie Miles 1610 up just like Miles 1610 tied Peter up in the first movie. The shadows in Earth 42 are just so dang black. And Aaron's phone seems to have a bubbly, almost spray paint effect to its glow.
Probably.
Also that, he punched the CMYK right out of the bag. Rarely has such a scary moment been so artistically beautiful. Seriously, there are no other J. Jonahs. Also, another smart touch for the Spider-Man-less universe, the Sinister Six are now individual cartels rather than a team.
Who are you? I'm Miles Morales.
I take it back, it's still such a sick reveal. Oh, cool, like things weren't bad enough. At least his art is still all killer, no filler. Pretty much Jude's favorite scene right there. The way she's just pointing. Ha! Gwen's drums kicking as she appears. Damn straight, Spider-Girl. And as much as I'm a sucker for a dire ending like this, I love that we get just like 3 frames of the corner of Miles' lip turning up as he charges his Venom strike.
You want in?
Wait, me? Yeah, I'm in. And just some straight up James Bond intro credits. All right, I'm in. And who knows if it'll stay, but love that across has blue and red and beyond is purple and blue for Prowler. The visuals are stunning, the story is engrossing, the voice acting is over the top excellent, the character animations, while still beautifully stylized, always feel like real people with real facial expressions and mannerisms or quirks. There aren't characters that feel out of place or like they don't belong, well, except this kid that was in the first movie too. Speaking of which, it's too early to say which movie I prefer, but right now, it's close, it's close. On vibes alone, Across has taken it for me. The vibes are just right for me. Spider-Gwen's first swing after we spend 8 minutes with how hard Gwen's life is, and she just seems free and alive and happy and just where she wants to be. And then the mirror of that when Rio releases Miles to go after Gwen and Annihilate kicks in, and even though everything is going wrong for him right now, thwipping around New York City at night, it's just like a rare moment for a Spider-Man movie. We're given these moments of reflection that aren't just a dude sitting on top of a building staring at the horizon. They happen while the story is still moving. Not that the slowdowns aren't also some of my favorite scenes. This right here is way up at the top of my list. But doing many things at the same time might be the movie's biggest strength. It's never just a fight. It's never just a game. It's never just a speech. And yeah, when you land Oscar Isaac, it's gonna be good. He's gonna be funny and scary, and you're gonna love-hate him. But no one is outclassed. I joked about forgetting Spot, which I actually think he's deliberately pushed to the back burner, but the darkness that he exudes and the chaos that he does with even the animation style of the movie, Pav, the perfect Gene Spidey, Miguel, the brooding vampire Spidey, Hobie. Daniel Kaluuya helped write lines for Hobie, and it shows. He feels so at home in the character. Shameik Moore and Haley Steinfeld have chemistry that burns through the dang screen. I don't think I could ever say enough good about Shameik because he took that newbie, unsure of himself energy from the first movie and turned it into something new and confident in this one without losing what made him likable before. And I'm gonna say it again, dropping actor names feels redundant because even the smaller parts like Shea Wiggum's Captain Stacy sells every scene he's in. Luna Lauren Velez gives one of the most meaningful and heartfelt mom talks ever. And I hated LaGuerta. Fun fact, her twin sister Lorraine Velez plays her sister Maria at the party. Jake Johnson, Issa Rae, right down to Jarrell Jerome, who had, 30 words? I believe him. I'm scared of him for Miles 1610, and I can't wait to get more of him. But enough about the surface stuff. Let's talk about some themes, my friends. Let's talk about the Black Spider-Man and how this movie made him the anomaly. I mean, clearly there are other Black Spider people, and even Miguel O'Hara is Irish? Huh. Well, yes, he is, but also Mexican, right? The point is that the backlash to Miles is unique in this world, and I love how this movie just throws it out there and makes it part of the story. The guy who seems to always know what he's talking about said that spin shouldn't exist, so who are we to doubt him? It seems like a clear response to the reactions that both Comic Miles and Into the Spider-Verse Miles received, and Lord and Miller didn't dance around it, they came out and said it. I have predictions about where Beyond the Spider-Verse will take Miles with his canon events, but I'm gonna keep them out of this video. There's one other thing I want to talk about, and that's the idea that a big part of Spider-Man's ethos is that he never wants to let anyone die. So I could see people getting a little irked that Hobie and Miles seem to be the only ones who feel that way, and apparently every other Spidey is on board with what Miguel is planning. There are two main reasons that it doesn't bother me and why I think it works. First is that with the exception of Gwen's dad dying, the canon events all happened for each Spidey before joining Miguel. That was the biggest reason they wanted to keep Miles away, because once you know, you're gonna do everything you can. But if you don't know, then it's gonna happen. And I think it's safe to say that Gwen was on the fence about what she was going to do and even questions Miguel at the end. Maybe she didn't know the exact time like Miles did, and also they were basically estranged at that point. So the idea of trying to protect him while he's hunting her would be kind of tricky. The second reason is that, well, Miguel's story is believable. I personally think he's lying, again, not going to get into the specifics, but they've all seen a universe collapse and they have no reason to doubt the reason for it. He even confirms with Peter B. So it's not that they're all okay with the deaths in these canon events, it's that when weighed against entire universes, it's not that simple. And I think that part of the reason it's a little easier for Miles is that he's already an anomaly. And also, Spot is threatening to destroy his universe anyway, so why not try to stop him? My point in all of this is that I can understand why it might make you do a double take, but no Spider-Person is perfect, and we're still missing a lot of the puzzle pieces. So, whether Miguel is straight up lying or has well-meaning intentions but just doesn't know what he's talking about, I think our guy will find a way around it. I'm not saying that Miles isn't going to go through tragedy, he already lost Uncle Aaron. I'm also not saying that his dad will necessarily live. What I'm saying is that Miles is going to do his own thing, and I fully support him in that. One of the main messages of the first movie was that anyone could put on the mask, it just took a leap of faith. And now Miguel is saying there are certain things written in stone that you just don't change or it all falls apart. It's a great setup for the right message with a dilemma that isn't that easy to solve at first glance. I mean, most of what I've said has taken it for granted that Miles saving his dad won't unravel the universe, but that's also not a guarantee. And that's really what Spider-Man is about, what it's always been about, making the tough calls and dealing with the consequences. It's actually impressive that this entire movie is just one big cliffhanger for how that plays out. Oh dang, and Spot! I always forget about Spot, which is weird because he gives me the Beast vibes from Infamous and I can never forget him. It'll be interesting to see how they wrap this up and I'm excited for it. And next week, back to Blood and Guts. See that? We did Puss in Boots, chill movie, then Blade and Blade 2 on Nebula, uncensored Blood and Guts if you're on Nebula. Go sign up. Then this, which was chill, next week Blood, then chill again, and then another Blood. Variety, it's the spice of life. And an actual serious reminder that everything great about Blade 2 is on Nebula right now, uncensored, ad-free, way earlier than it's going to go up on YouTube. While you're there, you could also watch this video ad-free again if you wanted to. You can watch my Spider-Man Origins video, that's an exclusive for Nebula. Go check it out. We're still doing lifetime memberships for a little bit longer probably, but the annual plan is also a really great deal. Thanks!
You guys smell that? Mayday took a crap. Yep, she's a Parker. That's what
Miles.
happens when a Parker eats an avocado.